Alright guys, now I just want to talk about meal planning and prepping for the week. Typically what I like to do is do my groceries on Saturday or Sunday and then do all my meal prep on Sunday so that I know I'm all set for the week. Sometimes we run out of veggies, sometimes we run out of protein, but it's a lot easier to just run to the store for a couple of things than to not be prepared at all. And I find that on the weeks that we are less prepared, like if we're super busy on a Sunday and we don't get our meal prep done, a lot of the times those are the weeks where we end up going out to eat more. Those are the weeks where I just kind of throw some meals together and they don't exactly fall into my containers. So for the sake of this group where we're trying our best to stay on track with our nutrition, it's really important that you do your meal planning and meal prepping. Now let me tell you the difference between planning and prepping. Your planning is going to be how many containers you get, how you're going to break it up into your meals. Are you going to eat 5 meals a day? Are you going to eat 4 meals a day? Are you going to, what containers you're going to have at each meal? How are you going to split them up so that you're not hungry? If you're hungriest during, in the evening, maybe saving more containers for your dinner time. If you tend to wake up really hungry and you need a big breakfast to keep you satisfied until lunch, then going ahead and putting more containers in your breakfast, but just planning ahead and kind of have a plan in your mind. And you may try it for the first few days and that plan isn't perfect, it doesn't quite work. It's always okay to tweak, but at least you have a plan going into this, starting something brand new. So let me tell you my 4 tips. They were listed here in the description of this video, but I did want to just kind of elaborate on each of those 4 things. So first of all, back on Tuesday, we talked about figuring out which meal plan we fall under, and that is going to be your first step. Making sure you understand which containers you're allowed to have throughout the day and understanding why the containers work the way that they do. Second is going to be having a written plan for what you're going to have for meals. So I find this very helpful for, like I said, keeping myself on track, but also for saving money when I'm doing my groceries, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But making sure you write out, like, okay, for breakfast I'm going to have my Shakeology with a piece of toast and peanut butter. And for snacks I'm going to have carrots and hummus. And for, my lunchtime I'm going to do this meal. And keeping them consistent throughout the week works for me. Some people get very bored with their meals if they're eating the same thing all week. Maybe picking 2 lunches and 2 dinners and alternating all week between those 2. But how I mean that it saves with shopping is that you don't have all these things that you're buying because you're making 5 different meals for lunches and 5 different meals for dinners, and you're buying all this food, and at the end of the week a bunch of it's going bad. So what I like to do is kind of stay consistent, so I know that both of the lunch options are going to involve chicken and both the dinner options are going to involve turkey burger. So I just buy a bunch of both of those things, cook it all up, have everything prepared, and I'm good for the week. Making sure that you go grocery shopping, that's the next thing. Have a list when you go. Don't just kind of wing it and then try to make your meals out of what you buy. Make your meals and then go grocery shopping. Have a plan for what you need to buy. Write everything out. And that's going to save you money because you're not going to be overbuying. And it's going to save you time at the grocery store and save you from running down those middle aisles where you end up getting trapped in like the Little Debbie snacks and stuff. The next thing and most important thing is meal prepping. Like I said, making sure that you always have food cooked up, because if you come home late from work one night, or you run into somebody at a meeting and you end up talking late and you don't have time, and you get home and you're like, oh, I just don't feel like cooking dinner, I don't have time. You already have cooked chicken, you already have cooked broccoli or steamed veggies or something like that you can just grab quickly and turn into a meal for yourself that's still going to keep you on track with your plan. And then making sure that those around you know what you're doing, guys. This is so important. For me, every time I enter into a new challenge, or every time that I try to be very specific with my meal plan, I make sure those people at work know that, because then they're not saying like, hey, do you want to go out to lunch? Or they're not bringing in a bunch of donuts and saying, hey, Kristen, I brought donuts, they're downstairs. Instead, they bring the donuts, they hide them, and they tell everybody else, and they keep them from me. Or just telling my family, guys, for the next 21 days, I'm going to be really strict on this meal plan. If you wanted to have dinner one night, I'd love it if you could come to my house and I could prepare you guys a meal so that I know that it's staying in my plan. Your friends, your family, they're going to support you. The other thing to remember is, if they don't support you, that's okay. That's not on them. You're doing this for you, nobody else. So remember that. When you're telling the people around you, if they're not quite on board with you, that's fine. They'll catch up. They'll see how great you're feeling. They'll see how much more energy you have. They'll see how great you look in your bikini, or even in those pair of jeans that just didn't quite fit you last month, but they now do. They're going to see those things, and they're going to see why you're doing this for yourself. And eventually maybe they'll even join you and be your partner in crime. You never know. So just making sure the people around you are aware of what you're doing so that they can help you stay on track rather than being those little, little devil that gets inside your head. But I think that's it. Those are the 5 things that I think are super important when you are meal planning and prepping. If you guys have any questions or any additional suggestions, go ahead and comment them below on this post and we can all kind of chit chat about it. But happy meal planning, happy meal prepping this weekend, guys. I hope that you are super excited to get started on Monday, and we cannot wait to see what you guys are able to do in this program.